You feel like such a bad boy in this thing. Perfect. You might be wondering why I'm standing here in the middle of Ohio when it's 32 degrees and we had snow flurries. You might be wondering why I'm wearing gloves and a puffy coat. Well, the reason is this. Well, actually, the reason is that. And, well, I guess the reason is both of them. About 3 years ago, I saw that car on the internet, and it blew my mind. And I did a little research, and I found the owner, who's the guy that garage. After speaking with him, he told me about that car. That car reminded me of when I was a kid, so when I decided to come here, I wasn't sure which one I was going to film. As it turned out, this is the Huckleberry for this episode, but that one is something we're gonna do later on. So, welcome to another episode of the House of Muscle, and I'm leaving you now because I'm really cold. This is a cruiser. This car was made to do what we're doing now, which is to like roll around and show off, and like you go up to somebody and they're like, hey, how you doing? All right, and they look at you and they're like, should I talk to him? May I present to you this piece of beauty, this wonderful rig of whiteness and lace paint and a hood scoop, a hood scoop.
The thing that got me in the cars, one of the most vivid memories I have, I'll never forget. I was a paperboy, about 12, 13 years old. You know, rode your bike, you had the canvas bag over your shoulder. To the corner of my eye, I see a car coming across the street. Heard it first. It happened to be probably a 1970 Nova. It was black, it was a sunny day. I remember the sun hitting the spokes of the Cragar S. It was very similar to the 69 I've got. I was scared, but excited at the same time. That was over 40 years ago. That image was burned into my mind. And that, not only cars, but Novas in particular, have always been a part of me and probably always will be.
The cool part about this is that it makes you feel like a kid. It makes Mike feel like a kid. And as he puts it, when he gets in this car, he's like, dude, I'm 16. I am 16 years old.
Just clear the side pipe. So I wanted to build a car that reminded me of the cars that were on the road when I was a kid. The slapper bars were something that you saw. The Cragar SS's, that was the wheel. I think there were like 2 wheels options in the 60s and 70s. It was probably a steel GM wheel if you had a GM car, a rally wheel maybe, and a Cragar SS. Side pipes. I mean, if that doesn't scream 1960s, I don't know what does.
This particular car is a 1969 Nova that Mike bought off eBay. And when he bought it, he was like, dude, it was a complete hash. He's like, it had like a 283 in it. It's like the tranny was jacked. The body was in decent shape, but there was so much of it that just needed to be redone. As Mike's first car was a Nova that his dad gave him, which he still has, by the way, Mike decided to build something that not only paid tribute to his pop, but his kids as well. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna build the type of car that I grew up with, that I saw on the streets, and that sparked my imagination when I was a kid.
With most car guys, the inspiration that we receive comes from a lot of places. To pay homage to my father, who is probably my, my biggest inspiration. I went with my family's name on the car, my father's name's on the car, my son's name on the car.
His dad passed away 2 weeks after the car was finished. He said he got to see it before he passed away. Now, Now, when I think of a Chevy Nova, this is what I think of. As a kid growing up in the late 70s and the early 80s in New York, these things were all over the place. But back in 1968, when Chevy decided to change the body style of the Nova, they went from kind of these square rectangular blocks of automobile to this, which is more of a kind of an organic, kind of jelly beanish type of shape. But the ones produced between 68 and 72 are actually my favorite. One, I loved the small taillights. I loved the raked front grille. I love the line. They're very kind of ruggedly handsome, if that makes any sense, right? Even if you got one with a plain Jane straight six, it was still kind of cool. I mean, hell, you could even, when they were first released, you could have even gotten this car with a 4-cylinder, although I've never actually seen one. They're really, really rare. You have to think about what I'm driving, right? Cragar's on the fronts with skinny tires on it. I've got these big meats on the back, and the rake is like this. I've got these crazy traction bars, so when you hit the throttle on the car, the whole car just kind of lunges forward. It's kind of cool. I mean, you know, cars today are meant to just be planted. They're not meant to twist. They're not meant to do any of that funky stuff. This car, if you're sitting here and you stop it, it's hilarious because when you do it, the whole car kind of comes up on an angle. It feels like that front wheel wants to come up off the ground, and it kind of twists itself. And that was such a characteristic in these old school cars, and that's what makes them wonderful. How is the car to drive? When you look at this car, you immediately get an image, and you go, that's probably going to be terrible. And you know what? It kind of is. But not in the way that you would think. Like, I don't want to get in this car, and I don't want to drive to California in this thing, right? I mean, under the hood, we've got a 406 small block. Out back, we've got 373 gears, and it's a turbo 350 tranny. So, right, at like 65, 70 miles an hour, you're spinning $3,000. You don't want to do that, like, all the way to California. You'd be running like 4,500 RPMs. The motor would blow sky high. When you look around the inside of this car, what do you see? I have a massive tack, old school tack that's column mounted. I have, obviously, my gauges down here because every muscle car from the 70s and 60s has a gauge pod down there. There's a fire extinguisher, because when you have a 50-year-old car, you have a fire extinguisher. I've had cars that caught on fire. It's not pretty if it's not present. I don't have a radio. I do have climate control switches. They do nothing. It's old car. It's awesome. I love character. It's a fun car to drive, and you don't have to be going 110 miles an hour. You know, in regards to flat-out speed, my ass dyno says probably a mid-13-second car, high-12 car, something like that, if you get it to hook up. But on this particular one, once you get a look at it, you can tell that owner Mike Cosculluela did a lot of things to it. Okay, so if you guys haven't figured out what this guy means, do I look like I give a F? I don't, and I definitely know Mike doesn't.
I take this car everywhere. I take it to the grocery store, to my kids' school when I would drop them off at school. The question I'm often asked if I'm at a gas station getting gas in it or in a parking lot of a grocery store is, where's the car show at? Where is there a car show, today? And I'm like, no, I've got to get milk and eggs. Too many guys will take these cars and preserve them and baby them.
On the stickers, we made a couple look like they fell off.
Sure, of course.
We broke them all
Yeah.
and sanded on them.
I subscribe to the theory of drive the crap out of them. It's a car.
Is that a drive-through store?
Yeah.
Look at that, that's bitchin'. I want to go, we're going through there. All right, now we're gonna go have a little fun. What are we gonna buy?
Snickers and some batteries.
Snickers and batteries.
If a drive-through mini-mart doesn't say 1970s, I don't know what does.
Hey, how you doing? Do you have Snicker bars? Do you have AA batteries? Oh, do you have Twix?
Twix?
Yeah, I'll take a Twix too. Hey, dude. Nothing. There, what do you think of this thing?
Pretty sweet.
It's slick, isn't it?
Anything else?
Just the batteries and then we'll be good to go.
What time you got on?
Oh, like The ass dyno probably says high 12s, low 13s.
I told you people can't ignore this Nova.
There is no reason whatsoever you couldn't drive this every day. None. None at all. Everybody thinks that they have to spend a whole bunch of coin to have a great car. And you don't. All you have to do, in reality, is have a really good imagination, right? You have to have a good imagination. You have to have a great set of friends that are gonna help you through the journey of building the car. And then, and this is the most important thing, you have to drive them. You have to get on the gas. You gotta like roll through it and like, you've gotta scare yourself a little bit. I mean, shit, we don't even have seat belts. I mean, we have lap belts, but like, they don't do anything.
I knew I would never buy anything but a Nova. I know there are some guys that own Mopars and they own Pontiacs and foreign cars. Not me. Because it was my first car. It's my first car that my father gave me. Every time I drive it, I think about my dad. That's the biggest joy I have with this car and all these cars.
The person or the people that you built it for, they get it. They get exactly why you did it. They understand your process behind it. And they know in here, and more importantly in here, what this means to you. You can't buy that. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much money you spend. The reason we do this stuff is because of this. Really nothing else. When I saw this car, I was blown away because a lot of people do cars like this and they get really close to getting it right, but they generally always do it wrong. He nailed this thing in my opinion. Look at the stance, look at the rake in the back. Look at how true he stayed to the street freak cars of the 1970s. Look at the side pipes, look at the toe tabs in the front. Look at the lace paint job and the distress paint. Look at the 2 inches of caked rubber on the back quarter panel. Look underneath the rear end at that glorious rear gold globe of a diff cover.
Love it. I love it. If you asked any guy that built a car that didn't want some sense of acknowledgement that, dude, that is freaking badass, he's lying. Because you want, subliminally, you want acknowledgement.
Not a big money build, but an outstanding build. A car that's fun, a car that's exciting, a car that has imagination, and these cars are about adventure and they're about making you understand what life was like a little while ago. They act as therapy and they act as kind of like your escape from the everyday.
And you know, the guy that I'll see coming out of a grocery store that's getting into that minivan, that part of his soul has got to be crushed. When I, fill the trunk of my Nova with groceries, and on the way home, I know a little part of him has to die when he thinks about that little Barracuda that he had in high school, that he traded in for a station wagon, and now he's got a minivan, and he's gotta die a little bit. But I hope that when a guy that gets into that Camry sees me get into this car, and I'm not at a car show, and I'm not going to a drag strip, I'm just driving it, that he says, you know what? I'm gonna go buy me this car that I used to have when I was a kid. And I want the smile on that dude's face, That's what I want. When we drive these cars, we're giving those guys hope. He did it. Look at his face. Look at the smiles.
I'm giving you a hug because that was the greatest line I have ever heard. That was so good.
Yeah, well, I should have said, we're doing it for the kids. But I should have said.
No, that is brilliant. So just a reminder that episodes of The House of Muscle go live on MotorTrendOnDemand.com about a month before they go live on YouTube. So head on over there and check them out.
We never feature stuff like this on the House of Muscle. Long gone, and I mean long gone, is the original Colombo V12 that came in this thing. And in its place, is you ready? A 383 Chevy.
Each new episode of the House of Muscle premieres exclusively on Motor Trend On Demand. Sign up for a free 30-day trial and watch the latest episode now.